Hey, it's Dan, and welcome to Unified Gaming. So in this one, we're going to play Trash or Grab, the game where we check the golden vendor every week to see are there items that are worth getting or they absolute trash. We also check the Infinite Archive and see are there any good leads that could help with some mythic items. It's important to note that this is recorded on the 11th of May, so if you are watching this in the future, the items will be different. The golden vendor changes every weekend, and the Infinite Archive trader changes every Tuesday. As to where do you find the golden vendor, she can be located in the Northern High Rock Gate for DC. If you are playing on the yellows, she's located down by the Western Elsewhere Gate. And if you're playing for the Ebonheart Pat, she is also located in the Southern Morrowind Gate. In order to stay up to date with this series, liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing really helps out, as I will be posting every week so you can stay up to date with what is good and what is a bit eh. As for the golden this week, what is she selling? The golden has a range of rings and monster pieces today. You have the Carderia set. This is a heavy attack set essentially, and it's more fun than useful. When you do a hit damage with a heavy attack, you create a whirlwind around you, it moves forward, it damages people, it gives people cost reduction. This is more PvE, in my opinion, for healers. If you're playing on a healer, this might be useful because you can heavy attack and give people some stam reduction, or if they're a tank, for example, stam or mag reduction can be helpful. So healers might want to pick this up, but it wouldn't be my go-to in all honesty. From a PvP perspective, as many of you know I focus on, this isn't good. We then have Pirate Skeleton. This is a helmet again, and it gives you minor defile if you take damage, but you do get the ability to get major protection and reduce your damage taken by 10%. So you kind of get a debuff to get a buff. For me personally, this isn't good anymore. It used to be really strong, but it has been nerfed quite heavily, and the defile is not that nice. So I would kind of avoid this personally. It is also important to note that these items are helmets, so these can be farmed a lot easier than shoulders. So again, for that reason alone, I would avoid all of the monster pieces today. The only reason you may want to get some is if it's a DLC dungeon and you don't own the chapter, then do consider it. For the rings, we have some useful ones today actually. We have Catalyst, Sheer Venom, Wild Queen and Sithis. Elemental Catalyst, whenever you deal with flame shock or frost damage, you apply a debuff to them and it makes them take more critical damage from that element. This is for PvE. This is a PvE set and it's designed to debuff the target so they take more damage. Beyond that, I wouldn't use this. This is used mainly on healers in all honesty. Damage dealers would avoid this and tanks would generally avoid this. So if you are playing PvE and you like to heal a lot, this is worth getting. If you do play, something like PvP, Battlegrounds, Imperial City, Cyrodiil, this isn't great, so I'd leave this. The next one is Sheer Venom. Sheer Venom is a set that when you deal damage with an execute ability, you inflict the enemy with a debuff, poison, damage over time, that scales up and up and up. This is really good. This is really good on a bow build. So if you've seen my light attack Larry clip on YouTube where I use light attack sets, you could use this as one of the replacements, and this is a very good set. So me personally, I would recommend getting this. It's important to note that this is a bind on pickup, so it's untradeable, so you will have to buy this for yourself. You can either pay gold or you can pay AP. A little tip though, if you do want to buy this for gold, you could buy key fragments from the traders, and then you can go into the dungeon, which is White Gold Tower, or in City Prison, so you can go over there and you can spend the keys in those, either one. And then you can buy items from the vault. It is a random RNG, but that's just a little tip. Me personally, I'm going to buy 2 of these because this is good. We then have Wild Queen. This is another set that's is very niche. It's niche. So when you attack somebody, you reduce their speed by 15% and increase yours by 15%. This is fun. It's not meta by any means. It's quite annoying if you hit it against people who are trying to 1vx. That 15% snare is quite annoying. Typically though, people will have a greater snare than that anyway, so this isn't the best set. I would avoid it in all honesty. And then you have the Sithis ring. This is Sithis' touch. When you kill an enemy, you gain 5% movement speed for 30 seconds and become invisible for 3. The movement speed can stack up to 20 times. So you can move really fast. This is basically PvE, move around a dungeon really quick. My suggestion though is to leave this as well. These are both tradable, the Wild Queen and the Sithis. So if you did really want these, go and just buy them from a trader, it will be cheaper. But personally, I'll just skip them. The only real good items today, are the Sheer Venom Ring. This is good. I would get this. And the Catalyst if you play as a healer. Everything else is pretty trash in all honesty. In this part of the video now, we also go and check the Infinite Archive and show on stream whether there are any good items there. You can buy leads typically that will give you access to mythic items, and some of the leads can be quite tedious to farm, but this can help you just bypass that farm. The Infinite Archive is located in Apocrypha, and you can fast travel directly into it. Once you get into the Infinite Archive, we're going to be looking for a vendor who is located on the east of the main entrance, the lobby, and here you'll be able to go and spend some of your fortunes to get some leads. This week, the vendor is selling the following leads. They have the lead for the music box. So if you play PvP or PvE, this will not help builds. This is fun, but it's more furniture. And then you have Fated Loom, which again, this is a crafting station. So these two offer furniture this week. So in my opinion, I would leave these. These aren't worth touching. You can obviously get some monster pieces, some like style pages, but these are bound, so you can't trade them. So just do factor that in. And everything else is, yeah, I wouldn't worry about these massively. So that's generally what we have here. The little list tome show, that's quite fun, but I wouldn't worry about a lot of this stuff. So that's kind of it today. The Golden Vendor has two things that are kind of worth getting, Sheer Venom and Catalyst. Everything else is pretty pants. And then the Infinite Archive Trader has things that are just pretty as well. That said, I will be covering this again next week, so hopefully there's better stuff. And if you want to stay up to date with this series, then liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing really helps out. And as always, a massive thank you to everybody who supports on Patreon. If you want to support myself there and get early access and much more, there's details down below.